How do you see search evolving in the next 5 years? Will Google always be the dominant force? Do you foresee somebody like Yandex coming into the fold in maybe the next year, 2 years with their English version of the search engine? How do you see search going over the next 5 years? It's a bit of a general question.
Big question. Well, so actually, starting from the end of that question,
okay.
I think over the next 5 years, I think Google will stay dominant.
Okay.
That's my call.
Will they always have the lion's share? Do you see that dropping?
I think it will have to drop. I can't imagine.
Because what is UK? I think it's like 75 to 81%.
That's the published data, right? But I don't know about you, but looking at our clients' analytics, it's a lot higher.
Crazy. Some of the data we've seen is one certain website gets 300 visits a day from Google, one from Yahoo, one from Bing.
Right. So
that's mad.
And the reason for that is that their market share is way higher than published.
Yeah.
Because Yahoo pushes a lot through its portal.
Yep.
And a lot of that is navigational. So
right.
there's a lot of people typing mail or Google right into Yahoo.
Yep.
Those numbers aren't stripped out.
Okay.
And on the Bing front, much as I love the Bing guys, if you browse around Bing, there's a lot of content on Bing.
Yep.
If you browse around that content, you click through to their music section and you go and look at whoever, Kanye West, that page is a search results page.
Right.
It's a very decorated, designed search results page, but it's a search results page.
Okay.
All of that, every click you make on that path is counted as a search.
Right.
And so that inflates search numbers.
Sure.
If you look at outbound clicks off their domain,
yeah.
that's when you start seeing. That's why we see in our all of us see in our clients' analytics Google above their reported market share. Yeah. So I would say more like a real market share of 90+% in the UK, and I think that has to decline. It just it doesn't have very much higher to go, right?
Sure.
And I think just the fact that Bing's going to gain some traction, there'll be some other upstarts doing some cool stuff. The other bit might be very fragmented, but I think Google share has to decline a bit. But the total pie is growing, so that's not necessarily.
Yes, Google do a Facebook.
And who knows? Maybe they win the internet. Do I think Yandex are going to win? Probably not. I think their technology's cool, but they need to rebrand, right, for the UK market or the English-speaking market.
Search bars are wide on.
Well, I mean, I guess their words are long, but. And then there's, we were talking the stuff like Blacko, the stuff that's in private beta at the moment. There's some cool stuff out there. Does it go mainstream and beat Google? Maybe eventually, but I suspect that's going to come out of left field. We're not going to see that coming.
Right.
And I don't think it happens. My prediction is not in the next 5 years.
Right.
Where is search going? Well, finally we're in the year of the mobile.
Yeah.
Right? It's been the year of the mobile for the last 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Growth of search on smartphones is exploding.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big part of it.
PPC's going on now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
phones.
I just know from my own search behaviour on the mobile. You do different kinds of searches there, you're looking for different kinds of resources. I think publishers and businesses need to start thinking about that. They need to start thinking about their mobile conversion path.
Yeah.
People are buying on mobile devices. There was a study yesterday about yesterday's not going to make my sense in the video. So,
it's the 3rd of August.
I think it might be Amazon publishing data on what kinds of products are getting bought via their mobile store. But if you're not in that game, what's your mobile conversion path? Is it signing up to an email list? Is it just registering for the site?
Sure.
I think that's going to have to get smoothed out.
Okay. What about designing for mobile though as well? This then brings into a whole new area, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's I think philosophical arguments on both sides.
Right.
There's broadly there's the two camps, right? There's the do something bespoke, designed for mobile, optimized for mobile, and there's the mobile as desktop. Essentially it's the platform manufacturers or platform designers' job to make your website work on their platform.
Sure.
And they're both wrong a bit, right? They're kind of.
I do like BBC's interface though.
There's a load of really nice mobile interfaces. The basic WordPress mobile stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
But not when it's not when it sacrifices functionality.
Sure.
Especially if you're using an iPhone or you're using Android or whatever, you can use most fully featured websites.
Yeah.
And when you get a kind of cut down, stripped away mobile version, it is a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And so I think about it, but yeah, I mean,
find a happy medium.
Some kind of happy medium.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a big driving factor. And then I suspect we are going to see some of the local stuff bubbling up. The addition of find things near me, more like searching on maps.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. The social side, I remain unconvinced for regular information search.
Okay.
So if you're just searching, the long tail is just too long.
Yeah.
Right? Your friends have not necessarily looked up. I mean, Google hasn't seen most of these queries before.
Sure.
So what's the chance that one of your friends has anything useful to say on the subject?
Yeah. I'm not. For me, so many people can make recommendations on Facebook, but I prefer just Google. Done.
For when you're trying to find information.
Yeah.
But when you're talking more recreational, when
Okay.
you're just reading for
Sure.
fun, or when you're finding amusing, interesting stuff, that's when social works.
Right.
So I just realised earlier today, I've got how many thousand unread Google Reader items
Right.
because I'm actually doing most of my reading off stuff that people recommend from Twitter these days. So effectively, Twitter is the new RSS.
Yeah.
Take that further, and it also kind of covers off some of those angles where, I don't know, a talking point comes up on a current affairs TV show, for example, and you think, oh, maybe I want to know more about the conflict in whatever war-torn country it is they're
Sure.
talking about. And maybe rather than turning to Google, that's when you turn to Twitter or you
It's
turn
interesting you said that.
something like that.
Obviously, the Grand Prix was on Sunday, and Michael Schumacher did a bit of a dodgy move on
Right.
Barrichello, and
And do you Google it or do you go to Twitter?
see, I was just on Twitter, but I was having a look at the most popular searches, and Schumacher was there straight
Yes.
away.
Instantly,
And
right?
Rubens.
And because people want, that's when people want commentary. They want commentary from their social network,
Yeah.
and they want curated links. They want to know of all of the people who've written something about this already, which are the good ones. And Google has never tried to be an arbiter of truth or quality,
Okay.
right? It's always been relevance, which is a different thing.
Yeah, relevance and authority.
Yeah, relevance and authority
Yeah.
are right for some kinds of search.
Yeah.
Right? You want relevance and authority if you're looking for trend times.
Sure.
If you're looking for editorial commentary,
Yeah.
you're more interested in viewpoint and credibility
Yeah.
and things that are kind of harder. So I think we will see integration of the social graph stuff into regular search,
Okay.
but I don't think I think it will only be in some searches, and I think they will pull that lever too hard, just like they did with real time.
Okay.
They'll create something that kind of is a bit broken.
Yeah,
and then they'll back away from it until they get something that works.
Yeah, you do it because I've noticed Google keeps fluttering with including Twitter in the search results. If you did a search for SEO Mars, every Monday to Friday it's coming up.
Yeah.
Now it's not, but yet they're still churning out all these great posts.
Well, so that's just them working out how Google that is working out how hard to pull that lever. I think they built something. I was reading earlier that it was built in a war room. Apparently, Google built real-time search in a sprint, basically.
Right. Okay.
I think had Bing come out with something just before it.
There's a whole argument of Facebook integration into Bing, isn't there, at the moment?
And so anyway, Google basically stuck a bunch of engineers in a room
Yeah.
and built real-time. And I think they got a bit excited about how cool it was, or how cool it was technologically, and bundled it into the user interface in ways that weren't always optimal for the users. And I think they've just dialed that back a bit, and they're converging on something that's useful now. I think when you search, if you search F1 straight after that instant, it won't. You'll get the F1 site, but then further down the page, there's probably the real-time stuff, and that is kind of more useful. That's probably closer to what you actually were wanting. So I think we'll probably see more of that. And the big open question in my mind is: does it stay? How much does it stay looking like 10 blue links?
Right.
And how much does that whole user interface change?
Well, they've changed that.
I mean, it's already changed.
Yeah, they've done the bit on the left-hand side.
But we're still fundamentally sending people off to web pages.
Yeah.
Right? So how much does that change? And those people have tried to shift that paradigm, and it hasn't shifted. So does that change in the next 5 years? That's the point toss for me.
That's where the social side could come in. The Google, the Google Facebook.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be then integrated.
I'm also actually incidentally fascinated at the moment by Quora.
Right.
If you've played with Quora.
No, I haven't.
Really smart founders. I forget what the guys who set up something else successful previously.
Okay.
Maybe it might be Flickr. Anyway.
Right. Okay.
It's basically social answers. So you know the way that a lot of people use Twitter. Does anybody know the best image editing software for Windows 7?
Yeah.
Just putting those kind of questions out there.
Okay.
Quora is designed to do that. So it's a social platform that is designed to have people answer your questions.
So a social Q&A then.
Essentially, it's a little bit like Stack Overflow,
right?
That kind of thing,
Yep.
where good answers get moderated up by the community, and you build authority on certain subjects. So Stack Overflow is very narrow, I think, very focused on programming. Quora is more anything goes.
Yep.
At the moment, it's obviously biased tech, startup, VC, that kind of thing, just because of who's on there. And you build that authority within a domain.
Right.
So people get to endorse you as an expert in bootstrapping a startup or
it sounds like a better version of Yahoo Answers in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically learning all the social lessons that Twitter and Facebook have taught us.
Yeah.
Back onto that old model of kind of crowdsourced answers. And it's, at the moment, I'm more of a lurker than a contributor on there. But it is fascinating, and I think I think that there's future in there.
Okay.
But I think we have to remember that all of these things are very small elements of the search pie as a whole. You forget how long the long tail is.
Yeah. Well, how long was Twitter going for before it actually hit the public domain? Like, really?
Oh, I mean,
it was going for years, wasn't it? I think it was like 2-3 years before then it really kind of went, amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's had a few of those. I think it had the first kind of that South by Southwest.
That is somebody that was using it from 2006.
Right. Yeah. And there, I forget, was it? I think it might be South by Southwest in 2008 or something like that. Right. It was a big kind of tech early adopter spike. But that was months before the Guardian was putting it on the homepage when it had that second spike of all the celebrities going on and all that kind of stuff. And I find all that stuff that it's the Crossing the Chasm. What's that? There's a book whose name escapes me. That's all about crossing the chasm. It might even be called Crossing the Chasm. Right. About marketing high tech stuff and about how essentially moving from early adopters to into the mainstream.
Sure. Okay.
And that's the challenge that Google is now even used by the laggards. Right? It's not even just in the mainstream anymore.
Sure.
And the stuff that has come along that has supposedly been going to challenge that. You look at things like Blecker with the slash tag notation.
Right.
The idea is that you search within a domain. So you say something like, I don't know, can't think of an example. But one of their examples actually is you search, like it's an American site, so you search Congress / humour.
Right.
And that only searches for Congress on funny sites.
Right.
It's that kind of idea of and you can add these things together. So you can say / humour / I don't know, college.
Right.
We give you college humour about Congress or whatever. And okay, great, geeky, cool.
Yeah.
But my mom's not going to search that way, right?
Are you sure?
I'm fairly sure. Pretty sure. But that kind of innovation is interesting.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like chasm crossing innovation to me. And who knows? There's lots of people that smarter than me working on this stuff.
Wow. It's going to be really interesting to see how things evolve then.
And it's going to be good for everybody, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Not just from...
Something better than Google? Yes, please.
I'm sorry, not with Google. We've got Google, aren't we?